Hey everyone, it's Kevin here. Welcome to Mobile DJ Remastered. Thank you so much for joining me on my channel. Please like and subscribe to my channel if you are a fan of this content. And what I want to do today is talk to you guys a little bit about a common thing that we DJs do, certainly on mobile events, when we have to do like an introduction. Typically what happens is when we have multiple songs for multiple people to be introduced, we want to quickly cue those songs up, and sometimes it's hard, it's difficult, because if you're just by yourself, it's very hard to be an MC, introduce someone, and then of course load up the next song, get ready, and if you're not prepared and you don't have things hot cued ready to go, it can be extra tough because then you're searching for the right spot in the song to press play and start the song. So you definitely want a sequence where you can easily introduce someone, play a song for that group or that person, and then introduce the next person and very quickly change over and play the next song or the next piece of music at the appropriate point in the song. You certainly don't want to have a long build up of intro or a first verse. You want to go right to the recognizable part of a song, especially for things like a wedding, grand entrance, or introduction. So today what I wanted to do is show you guys what I do in order to kind of a little bit of a hack to make this a little bit easier for myself. And instead of doing a wedding introduction, I have a bar mitzvah coming up and I have a candle ceremony. And this candle ceremony is going to be hype, and we're going to have lots of great music for each of the special VIPs coming up to light their candle. So I want to make a long string of snippets of songs that I can quickly jump to. So step one of this process is going to be get all the music together, of course, in the right sequence. That's super important. So working that out with your couple or your host, or in this case, it was working out with the parents of the young man who's having his bar mitzvah. So we worked out the order and all the guests in sequence. Then you want to make sure you have all the music, of course. Then we're going to pile them together in one large audio file. Okay, it's going to be a massive audio file with basically all the songs end to end, back to back. There's a couple different ways you could attack this. You could take snippets of the songs. You could do different things, but I'm just going to take the whole chunk of the song, the whole version of the song, the whole file, and basically stick them end to end. Then we want to find inside the song, where's this right spot? This is the next step, is where's that right spot that we want to trigger a hot cue and play the song from? Again, we want those recognizable parts, probably a chorus or something like that. And then we will basically create all of those hot cues on one large file inside of, in this case, Rekordbox, but you can do this with any DJ software. Okay, guys, let's get into it. I want to show you guys, this is the list right here that essentially shows all the folks. The young man's name is Zach, and then you can kind of see we're going to introduce his parents, his brother, his grandma and grandpa on the other side, etc. So these are the folks in order that will ask to come up and light a candle. And certainly each group or each person is going to have their own little track here, and that's what's in pink. So this, by the way, this is like my little schedule document that I would use for the day of. So it's my day of script, if you will. And essentially you can see here that we have 14 songs, in fact. So Making It's going to be number one. The couple's really big into disco, and the kids are too, so it's pretty cool. But in any case, we're going to start off with Making It, and then 13 different songs for the other guests, besides the man of the hour. So how are we going to do this? Well, first, I want to bring all these songs together, and I did that in Rekordbox. So I have like my folder structure here on the left. You can see I usually create, for every event, I will create, hey, I've got my cocktail playlist, which, as you can see, I didn't build yet. I've got my dinner, my dance, slow dance, and then even games, because we're going to have some games. Okay, but this folder here that I'm looking at now is going to be the introduction of the parents and Zach into the bar mitzvah, the hora, and then the candle lighting songs. So I've got my intro song, I got 2 songs for the hora, to kind of blend them together to hype it up. And then I've got my 14 songs that'll go together into the intro. So now, did I need to put them on here in this playlist? Because I'm not going to play them individually. I'm not going to actually use them individually for the candle. I'm going to basically bring them all together, as I mentioned. But something interesting, the father who hired me basically told me, here, I'll just show you guys. He told me, hey, there's certain songs, and he underlined, well, I underlined these. There's certain songs, like 6 or 7 of them, that we want to hear later in open dancing. so like the Ice Cube hit, Flow Rida, they want to hear the full song, not just the snippet, but the full song later. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to pull them all together, because you never know if, I don't know, Jody and Charlene come up and say, hey, can you play that Denroy Morgan song? You know, that song that was our intro song. Can you pull it? So in any case, I've got the individual songs just in case I need them. And of course, those specifically called out by the father that he wants to hear later in open dancing. Okay, great. So there's a couple ways we can attack this. There's 2 within Rekordbox. Number 1, if you have the, I do not have my controller hooked up, and I do not subscribe to a subscription for Rekordbox. But if you did, you'd be able to, either one of those 2 scenarios, you'd be able to use the record button, which is right here, and then you'd have the record feature. And you could literally go in here and basically take one at a time, okay? You know, I'd play making it all the way through, and it's a 3-minute, 9-second song. And then I'd play or mix right into, you can do it and play that for, you know, whatever, 4 minutes, 26 seconds. And then load up below over here on this deck, and back and forth until I had I basically had a recording of all the songs back to back. That's pretty cool. That's one way to do it. You could, of course, set some some hot cues, and you could actually go through and just play the little section that you want, and maybe give a little bit of room to play. Okay, you don't have to do the whole song. And then if you did that, you could record using the same tool back to back and create that long file. And once you do a recording, it's just basically wherever you tell Rekordbox to put the recording, it's gonna drop an MP3 file or a WAV file out there, and you can grab it and use it. That is one way to do it. You can import it back in, and then you've got a file just like any other song file. But it's a really long file of all the, you know, components of the other songs that you stitched together. That's one way to do it. I don't want to do it that way. I've got a different method. But I will say one other way that I think some folks could use is if you look at, there is a tool right here called Edit, okay? And in Edit mode, which I have, again, I don't have the unlocked version or the subscription version, so I don't really have all the features of Edit, but you could make a project and you could post files back to back to back to back to back and create a really long file and save that as a version of a track that you could use in Rekordbox as a single track. So those are 2 ways you could do it within a Rekordbox, but I like to do it this way. So what I like to do is bounce out to Audacity, and you could use any wave editor, any MP3 editor, but I like using Audacity, and I will basically take this. And by the way, this process, when it's like a wedding party introduction and you've got like 3 or 4 files, super quick and easy, but with 14, it's gonna be a little while. So I'm not gonna show you guys every little, every mouse click, but let's just do one and we'll get started. So first off, I have to know where the file is. So I'm gonna say show in Finder. And so basically I can see the file that is in my Finder. Okay, so let me bounce over to Audacity. And essentially what I'm doing is I'm just taking these files and I'm gonna bring them into Audacity. Okay, oops. And then I'm going to basically, you'll see here. So here's my making it file. And you know what I can do? I can click this little arrow button here to shrink it. So it's not taking up so much real estate, and that's going to be important when I get more files on here. And you can see it's left and right channel because it's a stereo file and it's in here, and I'll load it up. So that's good. So the next one I'm gonna grab, because I definitely want to do it in sequence, is You Can Do It, right? I dropped them in here in the sequence, and I could double check myself here, but I made sure to put them into my playlist in a sequence so I remember the order. Also, another, I guess, backup idea here is really nice that the files are here individually, because if, let's say, something goes wrong with that really large file, or I don't know, something happens, I've kind of got those individual songs here, all tracks all ready to go, so I could use them by themselves if I ran into a problem. So in any case, You Can Do It is our next one, and that's going to be for the parents. So again, Show in Finder, bounce over to Audacity, and then I'm gonna repeat this process, all right, and bring them in here. Now you'll see how. So here's my making it. Here's my You Can Do It. So in order to kind of like start the process of what I want to do, I can go ahead and take You Can Do It, and basically I want to stitch this to the back end of making it, right? And what I essentially want to do is have this entire track selected and copied so that I can put it at the back end of making it. Okay, so I can click select here, and that selects the track. And if I do Control C, that copies what's selected, and then I can put the cursor right at the end of making it, the first track, and I can click Control V. So essentially, at this point, I can close the Ice Cube track, or you might want to keep it open, just minimize it, just if you want to keep it. But my making it here, and I'm just using the trackpad to zoom in and zoom out. But you can see this making it, this first track now is it mushed together, making it plus the Ice Cube track. So real simply, if I just make sure that we can hear, you'll hear the end of making it. Oh, you don't want to do that. What essentially I just did there was I don't know if you, I'm sure you could hear that. I ran the two songs together. So I'm gonna mute Ice Cube. Okay, here we go. Mute Ice Cube, and then here, you'll be able to hear just the end of making it. You can see where the cursor is. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. And here's the end of making it, and it's the end, and then here comes the Ice Cube song. Right? All right, and that's You Can Do It. And super easy to do that, and I'm good, so I can close out my Ice Cube song, and there it is. Now, I'm gonna repeat this over and over again. Here, I'll do one more so you guys can see the process a little more smoothly this time. I go into a low, and I say, okay, that's my next track. Where is it? Here it is. I'm gonna bounce over to Audacity. I'm gonna drag low right into here. I think I got a intro edit that I bought from DMS here, but no matter. I'm going to click again, select. I'm gonna click select, and you can kind of see it's like white. There's a white background around the track. I'm gonna do Control C, and then I'm gonna go to the end, right at the end, and I'm gonna do Control V. Okay, so I'll go ahead and mute Flow Rida so we don't hear that. Let's make sure that we get the Ice Cube. That's the Ice Cube track, and we should go right into low. Right here, I'm zooming in a little bit. This should be low. And there it is. Okay, cool. So I have, and I can now close the Flow Rida track. So I'm gonna go ahead and keep doing that 11 more times off the camera, and then I'll check back in with you guys in a second. All right, guys. So what you can see here is essentially all the 14 songs smashed together, and you probably saw in the review or the video as I sped it up. I just essentially started taking the bottom song, attaching it to the bottom song, and then taking those two and attaching it to the bottom song, and essentially built up that way. So that was a little bit of a quicker way. But now we have about a little over an hour of audio with these different files strung together. So what do I do with this now? My next step is basically to export this big honkin' MP3 file out to my computer. So I'm just gonna go to export from Audacity's menu, export as MP3, and this is gonna take the whole file. I'm gonna go ahead and put it in my August 2021 file folder, and I'm gonna make sure that the quality is as best it can be in an MP3 format, which is 320K here. So I'll save it. And it's asking me, no, I don't want to overwrite the original making it. So, you know what, I'm going to change the name of this, and I'll call it Zach's Candle Lighting Mix. All right. So it's going to have a bunch of metadata in here, but that's okay. I'll go ahead and say okay. And then it's going to begin the process of exporting, which can take a minute or two. As you can see, it's going to be about 2 minutes. All right, it took every bit of a minute and a half to get that thing exported. I'm gonna go ahead and close Audacity at this point. Now, you might wanna save your project file just in case, because you know that's a lot of work if you are unsure of yourself, but I'm pretty good. I feel good about what we just did. All right, so now I've got a file and I need to export that big honkin' MP3 file. Let's just go see, let's go take a look at it, what it looks like. It's gonna be a huge file. It's gonna be, let's see, date modified. Okay, so it's 151 meg, not too bad, not too huge. So I'm basically gonna take this file and bring that into Rekordbox. And how do you do that? I always just import folder, and I import always the top of my DJ file hierarchy, which is my DJ folder. That brings in all my folders. Now it doesn't re-import everything that's already imported. It just brings in the new stuff, and I find that super easy. And then if I sort in terms of my collection by date added, it's going to be at the bottom typically. So here, now we'll give it a second. I think it's just chewing on the very large file to bring it into the library. Oh yeah, okay. I just had metadata in that matched another track, this body music. So here is our track. It's you can see it's analyzing. It's trying to build a waveform out of it, which is kind of respectable of Rekordbox. I don't know if you can hear it, but my MacBook is screaming right now. The fans are on. It's gonna get hot. It's a 2018 MacBook Pro. It might be 2019. Anyway, looks like it got it in, and look at that, it even generated a waveform. So let's just take a look at it, what it looks like. Yep, there it is. It's all the 14 songs jammed together into one large 63-minute file. Okay, cool. Now I'm gonna want to obviously rename this, and I'll just kind of, candle mix. And this is basically, this is not going to be something I'm going to keep. So in addition to, do you see all these like 1-star songs? If it's a 1-star track, I might be having it just for a special occasion or a special event like coming up, and then I'm going to trash that track. I'm not going to keep it. Some of these are just some dinner songs, some dinner tracks for a wedding I have coming up that the couple wanted. And I'm not going to keep any of these. I am keeping some of theirs. Like I like this Heartbeats by Jose Gonzalez. That was nice. And then Time After Time, good cover by Iron and Wine. Anyway, I'm off topic. Back to Zach's Candle Mix. I'm not going to keep this after, because this is very highly unique, right? So I'm not going to do my typical color coding for energy level. I'll put a 1 star on it. So I remember, hey, anything 1 star, I'm jettisoning it out of the mix. I'm not even going to do any genre tags or anything. So there I go. Now I'm going to take this, and my next step will be, I'm going to go ahead and I like to work in export mode. It's a little bit easier to work on cues. I will show you a little trick though that we'll have to mess with. But so check this out. I've got this file, and it essentially is these songs mashed together. So what the process now, the next step of the process, is to find the spot when I want the song to trigger. So basically the very first song, which of course, as we know in our list, is going to be Making It. Where should Making It come in? Where should we start making it? Now, the very first song, I want a little bit of a run up, kind of like as I'm talking, as I'm saying some introductory phrases to bring in our guest of honor. So I'm going to pull back. I'm not going to go right into the chorus. I'll probably pull back just a little bit. So there's some intro soundtrack underneath my voice, and then I'll turn it up more loudly, and then we'll hit them with the, with the good part of the song. In some cases, I might even start the music at the very beginning of the song, and then have the next point be at a chorus. So I'm kind of like, as I'm introducing, hey, everybody, the guest of honor, the moment you've been waiting for right now, here comes the big man himself, Zach, and et cetera, et cetera. While I'm saying all that, I would want a little bit of music behind my voice, and I don't want vocals. So I might play the intro, depending on the sound of the song. So the way that Making It starts out, it's got kind of a good beat. So I'm thinking I could probably just start it right at the beginning, give myself a little bit of time to play around with, some introductory phrases. So I don't want to be exact. I don't have to be exact, but let me go ahead and just say, I'm going to start it here. I'm going to put a cue. Well, I'm going to try to put a cue. There we go. So that way I know when I come up and I'm ready to do my intros, I load this file, I'm going to hit A, and then I'm going to start, hey guys, if you'll please turn your attention to the front of the room because our guest of honor is about to appear, whatever, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that kind of thing. Now I know this isn't an introduction, it's more of a candle ceremony, but I still want to give Zach a lot of props. These bar mitzvahs and bat mitzvahs and really any big special event. It's the Super Bowl, to borrow a Nick Spinelli comment. It's the Super Bowl for these folks, right? And we've got to make it big and exciting. So in any case, I'm going to do that. And I think that's a good strategy with this song. It's got a build up of the intro. But then I can move in. Let me jump ahead a little bit. And you notice how I'm just using the browser on the waveform to kind of find my spot. So let me see. I'm going to look for like a chorus or something. Okay, now what I just discovered is this is the beginning of the Ice Cube song track. So basically, I have to go back a little further and find a chorus point for this Making It. That's not going to be it. Okay, so we're in the zone, right, guys? I don't know this song too well. It was actually my first time hearing it. Was after I bought it from when the couple just asked me to grab it and choose, and they wanted this for Zach's song. So with a candle walk up. So if you're wondering why is Kevin bouncing around this song so much, it's because I just don't know it. It's always good to know your music, right? So I'm just finding. Okay, Success Is Mine. That's probably something they want to hear, right? Okay, I like this part. That's perfect. Okay, and I can kind of tell from the waveform that we have, you know, a good, I don't know, we're a minute and a half into the song. We probably have another minute and a half because it's a 3-minute song, and that's going to get me to the Ice Cube. So we got plenty of like runway in case he takes a little bit of time walking up. But essentially what it's going to be like is I'm going to hit A. Hey, everybody, turn your attention now to right over there. We're going to look at Zach as he comes up to the front of the line. Come on up, Zach. We're going to do your candle lighting or something like that, right? And this plays while he's making his way up to the candle table. And maybe he's doing a little jig on the way. Maybe he gets stopped and hugged and high five or something. Maybe he gets up to the table and he's dancing a little bit. I don't know. I'll go with the moment, right? But I got a little bit of runway. That's why, guys, it's better to do to work with the full song, I think, because then you have some, you can kind of go with the flow. If you're working with the full song like this, you can kind of let it play out. If you do it any other way, if you just grab just the chorus or whatever, just the intro and the chorus, you have a finite tool that you've put yourself in a box almost, right? So it's just my way of thinking. So I'll do that. Now, I don't need an intro, so to speak, for the next piece, because what I'll do is, let's say Zach's walking up, of course, and he's coming up, and let's say right now he's there at his table. I'm just gonna lower the volume on making it here, like I just did, and it's still gonna be playing. And I'm gonna say, hey guys, now very special guests, you know, the mom and dad, the people responsible for this young man right here. Let's bring up, you know, Nancy and Mark, okay, that kind of thing. And at that point, I will jump right after I say their names, give it up or whatever I'll say, Mazel Tov or whatever, and then I'm going to jump right to the next hot cue, which will be inside of, or, you know, at some interesting part of the Ice Cube track, which they want. Okay, so that makes sense. Hopefully it does. We're going to jump right into You Can Do It, and we want a good you know, a good spot in the song. So I think right at the beginning is fine, because, or close to the beginning, because this track starts with a chorus, right? So like let's take a listen. Yeah, I like that right there. Let me see. Let's see what that sounds like. So basically I'd be like, hey, and Zach, and blah, 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 and here comes his parents. Be a little smoother. Be a little bit smoother, because I would be, you know, on the fader, on the volume fader, so it wouldn't be so abrupt like that. But you can kind of hear, that's good. And that gives me runway, because she does the words, Ice Cube does it, and then it kind of comes into the rap. So they get a little bit of the verse, you know, of the rap. That's fine. And then ideally they'd be at the candle table, lighting the candle, and you know, maybe saying a word or two as I fade out the music. So in any case, it kind of depends on if they are going to take the mic. I don't think they will. They'll have already done speeches and talks and things. So it might just be succession, one song after another, one intro after another, as they come up, light the candle, and then I introduce the next person while leaving the music kind of, you know, lower, so that people can still, you know, I want to make it hype, but I don't want to blare them with the music. It's not the open dancing hour or anything like that, but we'll have the music kind of going, and then I'll introduce on the tail end of the Ice Cube track, and then I'll go right into the next song, which would be Low, which is for Zach's brother. Okay, that's the formula, that's the pattern. So let me get on this and get this going. Uh-oh, what do I do? I've run out of hot cues, and I still have several songs to go. In fact, you know, about 10 songs to go. No, not 10. We've got quite a bit though, okay? So what are we gonna do? Well, it just so happens that in terms of Rekordbox and most DJ software, when you have a controller, if it's a professional high-end controller, you're gonna have pages, okay? So right now I can see these 8 hot cues, but actually there are additional hot cues, okay? And unfortunately, I don't know of a way to show them in export mode. So what I'm gonna do is bounce over to performance mode, okay? And if you know a way, by the way, please leave it in the comments. I would love to know a quick hack on that. But check this out. I've got my hot cues and boom, I've got another page of hot cues, another 8 hot cues for me to use. Okay, so I can continue on moving. It does look like I have a few more songs to go here as I showed you. So I'll keep on moving and I'll check back in a second. All right, so I basically finished with my hot cues, and just look at that preview. It's a mess, but I've got all the hot cues there, and you can see basically what we've done is with the hot cues here, I've got these 8, kind of that bank filled up, and then I've got this bank almost filled up. I have 1 left. So I used 15 hot cues, which is, that was right. Essentially I needed 14 for each song, but then I used that 1 at the very beginning for the intro. So that's 15. Makes sense. And boy, if I would have needed another page, I don't know. Some of the controllers, and I think there might be some ways to get even more hot cues, but that's enough. That's what I needed. Took this track, this Zach's candle mix, which is the large file that we made, and I put it in my intro hora and candle folder so that I can find it real quick. So I still have these other songs in sequence, but I brought this in here into the folder and I put it right where it's gonna go in sequence. So we're gonna do, this is my intro again, this is my hora, and then later in the night when we do candle after dinner, boom, got it right there. Okay guys, so I'm gonna go through this and just kind of like show you guys. We'll go through each of the hot cues and we'll try not to play too much of it because I don't want any copyright, but let's go ahead and try this. Okay, so starting with A, this is the intro where I'm first introducing Zach. And I'll be saying some words, and then I'll hit B after I'm done talking about Zach. And then I'll bring up his parents, and then I'll click this, and they'll be walking up to this. And then I'll talk about the brother after the parents are done with their candle lighting. Then I'll bring up the brother, and then I'll drop this. Of course, I'll be volume fading each time. Here's the next one. Next one. A little Frank Sinatra, a little slow down. Then this one, a little Pharrell. Okay. This is a good song, by the way. Al Green, Annie Lennox, great song, great song. Now I'm on to page 2. And we really get into the disco jams. And then the next one. This is for Zach's friends. Little, this is The Rock from Moana. And then here's some more deep disco tracks. And here's another one. It's like Studio 54 up in here. It's jamming. Then we got this one. All right. And then we got this one. Full Flow Rida. And then finally, Body Music. All right. Which, by the way, you can still see my metadata is here, right there. Okay, guys, that is basically how I would do this. And I'm sure there's other ways. There's probably a lot of different ways that you could combine music files. There's probably some scripting software or some other things that will just take MP3s and chunk them together, making one big MP3. I kind of like this little method that I showed you guys today. And if you haven't, gotten Audacity or some other audio program, then you can obviously get that one for free. And there's other ones for sure. But you can do my method, and you can basically set yourself up with this little hack for excellent introductions for different events. So guys, I really hope that this helped you. If you are wondering how to do this, or if you have a need to do this, I hope this helped and gave you some ideas. So if it did, I would love to ask if you could subscribe to my channel. I would love to have you as a subscriber, and I will keep putting out. My commitment to you guys is to keep putting out content. It's turned out to usually like once a week, usually Monday, I'll be putting out some sort of informational or tip type video. And then usually Thursdays are my gig logs and my little, maybe like a quick tip type videos. I'll trickle in there too, extras as I have them. So in any case, guys, I love making content for you guys. Hopefully it will help you guys grow your business and become even better DJs than you already are. All right, guys, take care. See you next time.